Alrighty everyone, welcome back to Culz Book Reviews. Today we're going to be checking out The Electric State by Simon Stalenhag. Obviously a tie-in with our Culz Talks Pop Culture episode where we did the recent Netflix adaptation, which you can see on the cover down there. Netflix film. So, without further ado, let's look at the book. Alright, so this one's going to be definitely a little bit different than our more recent books because if you guys know anything about this book, it is kind of like a picture/graphic kind of novel. It has a story with really nice detailed pictures. But before I get carried away discussing the awesome artwork that is in here, let's get back to taking a look at the book. Now right away you can see here the spine kind of carries over with that nice pink coloring, and then you get some beautiful artwork on the front with the title also being in a pink font saying The Electric State. Right here you get our main character as well as her brother in robot form. Get one of those bots there, and then you get the author Simon Stalenhag, and then that Netflix sticker right there just saying it is a Netflix film now. As far as the spine is concerned, we do see The Electric State, Simon Stalenhag. You get the publishers there, and on the back you get a little bit about the book right there saying it does take place in 1997, as well as a little bit about Simon, the author and artist of this one, as well as another just really haunting piece there with a robot right there, as well as a horde of people. And then down below is that ISBN if you need it. Now the book clocks in at over 130 pages. Just the following next couple of pages are just full artwork. No words, no numbers, nothing like that. So that's the last numbered page you're going to get. And like I said, it is a art book with a story, but a very hauntingly beautiful depiction of a post-apocalyptic future that maybe is not too far away. You know, it's kind of like it's sort of a tale on consumerism and the dangers perhaps of it, as well as just kind of losing yourself in technology. There was a really nice picture. As you can see, lots of great pictures, but some of the artwork has additional depth just due to the talent that Simon brings to his drawings. You can see here, it's like you're looking through that window. Perhaps if you remember riding through rainstorms as a kid, looking out, seeing stuff kind of distorted by the wet, windshield with the raindrops, it's kind of what it looks like. So just overall, really great work. You do see a map, and it kind of helps you determine where you are throughout the story, but let's get down to what the story is about. So the book itself follows the character of Michelle, which is the girl there who is going on a journey with her sidekick / robot friend / what you learn to be her brother later on, Skip, as they journey from one part of California to another, mainly looking for the coast in this post-apocalyptic world where people have really integrated with these things called neurocasters, which was a device that the military had used, and much like a lot of things that start off with military purposes, they eventually trickle down into civilian lives. We see them in a lot of our everyday lives now with current devices and stuff that were originally used in military purposes, but in here the neurocasters were passed down to civilians. They started using them, and eventually more and more they wouldn't take them off. They just got so engrossed with this world of virtual reality, and at the same time it started to have some really bad side effects. We learn later on that Michelle's mom was part of the war process of the devices, and actually it really messed up her brain, and later on you see that if people take them off, they will die. It does something to the brain where it just kind of turns it to mush or just destroys it, but at the same time, if you don't take it off, like you see in here, you just wither away and die because you're not getting any nutrients, you're not living, and you see a lot of mummified corpses throughout this journey. If you guys are watching the movie like we have, it's very much different than the book. The book is definitely much darker. There's a lot of places where there's even mummified corpses, but their mouths are kind of still moving because they're still kind of interacting with those machines. And yeah, it's kind of haunting. It would have been a really cool thing to see. Obviously, different direction, a little bit more kid-friendly for Netflix, so it makes it a little bit more profitable because they spent a ton of money on that one. But yeah, it's really quite fascinating, this weird kind of dystopian future that honestly doesn't seem so far off. I mean, we have a lot of VR things, and so even though this maybe more aligns with like the internet and stuff like that, that happened in the 90s when this story took place, it definitely is like, hey, just be careful of what technology brings and don't lose connection with the outside world. Michelle can't wear them because she has a problem with her eyes. She has a condition where one pupil is bigger than the other, and so she can't put it on. So she never really gets that juice or that kick like a lot of people do, where they kind of get addicted to it. But anyway, as she travels, she comes across a lot of different things, and you kind of learn some of her backstory as far as like the friends she had. Like I said, her mom, her dad, the kind of foster family she went with, and how her brother and her were split up at this point of her life. And then one day this robot showed up, and she eventually realized it was her brother, and her brother was using one of those devices to control it, and that's why she's going on this journey to find him. And at the same time, there's like this private investigator, rogue police agent, something like that, following them, and eventually kind of gets his comeuppance at the end. I guess it doesn't like say for sure, but I'm pretty sure one of the robots gets him. She comes across like a horde of people that have the Neurocasters on, or just kind of aimlessly, blindly just moving around like a herd of zombies almost. And another one, there's these machines that are starting to kind of get like this shared kind of conscience, this shared conscience from all these people that have connected. And they're starting to build machines out of kind of like these mascots or robots, and that's how the robots come to life in here. And there's like these hordes of people kind of like connect to the machines. It's wild. It's very wild. But at the end, she finds her brother in this home where he had been taken. And I don't want to spoil how the book ends. It's sort of similar to the movie, but different. So yeah, before I spoil it, that's as much as I'm going to give detail-wise as far as the book. I will say overall the writing style was a little bit to get used to. It's just very, very dark, I guess. And eventually I warmed up to it. Like, at first I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And the movie wasn't getting great reviews when I had started reading this. So I was like, man, it feels like a dud both ways. But eventually it grew on me. You know, it's kind of like I've had books in the past, like Rant by Chuck Palahniuk, where I started off really disliking it, but I pushed myself to go through it, and then I liked it. And it's sort of like this one. It really grew on me, and I think the darkness towards the end, it has a purpose. You know, it wasn't just dark for the sake of it, where at the beginning it kind of felt a little try-hard, but as the story progressed, it made more and more sense. So we'll give it that. The writing and the story, it's very simple as far as the premise goes. Like, really, it just comes down to a point A to point B type of book or movie, if you want to think of it that way. But it has a lot more depth and world building than just that. It has a lot of world building, and I'm actually quite amazed how much it did in such a small time frame, as far as just a little over 130 pages. I mean, quite impressed. As far as the artwork, because obviously that's another huge part of this book, fantastic. I'd say the art 10 out of 10. Like, it's haunting. It's beautifully haunting. It's very detailed. When I was flipping through the pages for you guys, and you saw one shot of like just looking out through the like window, and there was like that layer of like wet window with the raindrops on it. That was amazing, and it happens more than just that. Like, the perspective in here is really, really good, and there's just some really haunting pictures. It's beautiful. 10 out of 10 for the pictures. So overall, kind of like final thoughts before I just ramble on for hours. Yeah, I do recommend this one. I really liked it. If you liked the movie and hadn't read this one, it's going to be vastly different. And if you read this one and go to see the movie, also vastly different. Almost like two separate projects. But yeah, overall I'd say 8 or 9 out of 10. Like, it actually made me go pick up a couple of the other books that Simon wrote and drew for, because I was like, man, if I like this one, I wonder what those ones are like. And so I think if a book can do that, I mean, it's excelled at what it's supposed to do. If it makes you want to learn more about the topic, say it's like a nonfiction book, and it makes you want to go out and research that topic more, it did its job. If it's like a fictional book like this one, and it makes you want to go read more of the author's bibliography. Also did his job. So yeah, I'd say 8 or 9 out of 10. Pretty solid. It's a really pretty quick read. You sit down in a day, you can get it done. Like I said, 130 pages. There's a little bit more to it than that. It's not just like the Goosebumps ones that we've read that have been 130 pages. Definitely a lot more words to it. But I would say go check it out. I really enjoyed it, and like I said, I will be doing more of these in the future. But yeah, until next time, guys, for more Culz Book Reviews, click that link to your left. For more about us here at Culz Paranormal, click that link to your right. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe. And let us know, guys, did you read The Electric State? Or do you have a favorite book by Simon? Tell us in the comments below.